Okay, so I hope this will be fine. And I'm gonna go ahead and do the mid-year freakout tag. I was tagged by Sylvia K and Melissa and Barnsey Reed, and the original creators are Chammy and Eli, and I'll link their videos down below as well. The first question is, what is the best book in 2017? I'm gonna go with The Strange and Beautiful Sorrows of Ava Lavender. This is by Leslie Walton, and it is by far the best book that I've probably read ever, aside from Harry Potter. And I've already done a review for this book, so I'll go ahead and I'll link it on my channel or somewhere on the screen. Question 2 is, what is the best sequel you've read this year? And I'm gonna go with A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J. Maas. I have not done a book talk about this book yet, but it is a sequel, so I don't really want to spoil it for anybody. A human who becomes a high fairy and has magical powers. And Rhysand, need I say more? Question 3 is a new release that you haven't read yet, and I'm gonna go with When Dimple Met Rishi. I don't really know much about this book except that it's about two I think it's Indian Americans that are in an arranged marriage, and it's supposed to be a really cute read, and it talks about arranged marriages in modern society, so I'm getting really excited to read it. Question 4 is the most anticipated release for the second half of the year. This book comes out in September. My most anticipated release is Adam Silvera's They Both Die at the End. This book is about people who learn their expiration dates, I guess, or like the day that they die, and then they learn of other people who die on the same day as they do, and they can spend the day together. And this is about two boys who both die on the same day and spend the day together, and it's probably going to be one of those books that make me cry but make me happy too. Question 5 is your biggest disappointment this year. I'm gonna have to go with The Bone Witch by Ren Chupeco. This book I was so pumped for because, I mean, look, the cover's gorgeous, and it's about a witch, and I like witches. And it's about a dark witch, like a necromancer, and this is a story about a girl named T, or Taya. Her name is spelled like T, but I have so much gripes about her name. She raises her brother from the dead by accident and discovers that she's a necromancer, and then that's it. It drags on, then drags on. She doesn't do anything, drags on some more. It's just so boring. I don't really want to rant about it right now. I've already done a huge rant for this book, and I'll go ahead and I'll link that video on the screen. Question 6 is, what is your biggest surprise? And I'm gonna have to go with the Selection Series by Kiera Cass. Now, I didn't think I was gonna like this series at all. I'm not really into like The Bachelor or anything. I've never really watched the show, but because it's described as being like The Bachelor in a dystopian society. But a lot of people recommended me to read these books because it helped them get out of reading slumps, and I was in a terrible reading slump, and I ended up like binge reading the first 3, and then I read the novella, so I read like 4 of them, and then I ended up having a pretty good reading month in June. I read like 10 books. So, but The Crown and The Heir, they really weren't my favorite, but the first 3 they're good, they're worth it. And it was a surprise for me, for sure. Question 7 is, what is your favorite new or debut author? Find the book here. Leslie Walton's The Strange and Beautiful Sorrows of Ava Lavender. This is her first book, and it impacted me in such a way that not a lot of debut novels really do. If the whole, you know, like each book gets better and better, like as the author, like, you know, gets better and better. If that's true, then her books are gonna be amazing, guys, because this is awesome. And it was between this and Geekerella, but this still impacted me a lot more, and I still recommend you all go get it. Question 8 is your newest fictional crush. I wouldn't really say she's a new crush, guys, because I've been crushing on her for a while, but it's Daenerys. Newest favorite character? I don't really have one. Sorry. I mean, I guess Tyrion. I did read A Song of Ice and Fire this year, mostly, so Tyrion's pretty cool. I'll go with him. A book that made you cry. Second Chance Summer by Morgan Matson. This book made me cry so hard. Her dad has cancer, You can kind of guess what happens in the end. I cried like a baby. My buddy read this with my friend Melissa. I think this was like the second book we've ever buddy read together. Yeah, we both cried. A book that made me happy, this is actually a bind up of 3 books. It's the Summer I Turned Pretty trilogy. I'm not really into love triangles very often, but this was pretty cute, has some teenage angst in it, but it made me happy. It did. Like, I was happy while I was reading this book. There were some cute, funny moments. It reminded me of times when I was at a beach house when I was a teenager every summer. My happily ever after ended up a lot different than hers. Really, really cool when you ship people, like a couple in a book, and then the ship sails and you're like, oh, yay! This book made me super happy. Question 12 is, what is your favorite book to film adaptation that you saw this year? I haven't seen a lot of movies this year, honestly. I've seen a lot of kid movies for my kids, but I've seen Beauty and the Beast and I've seen Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 that come from stories or books. Comic books are going to count for this, but I really did like Beauty and the Beast, but I think I'm going to have to go with the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. I think they did a superb job with that and with the effects and everything, and Baby Groot is just so cute. Question 14 is the most beautiful book that you've bought so far this year, and it's so sad, guys, because it's my biggest disappointment as well. The Bone Witch by Rin Chupeco. Look at the cover, like it's shiny. There's a skull, it's purple, there's like an ombre effect going on. The spine's even gorgeous, and like her just kind of looking right here. It's one of the most beautiful books I've ever bought, ever, especially this year, and it also disappointed me so bad. Question 15 is, what books do you need to read by the end of the year? I'm gonna have to go with the Mortal Instruments and the Infernal Devices. I've never read a single Shadowhunters book, and I tend to change that. My plan is to binge read them probably in the fall and winter so I can catch up. That is just my goal. I'm pretty sure I need to read more, but I'm just gonna say the Shadowhunters. I just kind of want to get on the wagon, see what it's all about. Thank you all for watching my mid-year freakout tag. I think all of my friends have already done this tag because I'm really late. But if you haven't done this tag yet and you would like to do it, then I go ahead and I tag you. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up if you like this video, and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any more videos from me. And Jake's sighing. My dog wants me to shut up. So I'll see you all in the next video. Bye.